Hello everybody, welcome back to Entertainment Rebooted. I am once again in the car, which means that it is time for a new movie review. As you can see, I was not joined by my human counterpart, DJ. Rather, I am once again joined by, for some reason very popular, for some reason entertaining, and entirely unlucky, that's right, I said it, Popcorn Bucket. Yes, you're unlucky. Every time I've gone to a film by myself with you, it's been bad. Yeah, you are the common denominator. And yes, I do listen to you and your stupid little comments. Yeah, you're just shut up. Not worth my time. If that's any indication, rather, you probably already know if you have been following the channel and you see this thing on the headrest. I've probably gone to a relatively mediocre film. And what was the mediocre film this week? The Australian horror, supernatural horror film, Talk to Me. And I must say, it did not speak to me. Quick 1 to 10, I give this film probably about a 3. The premise is very, very interesting. That it could have gone a lot of different ways. I was expecting to have kind of edge of your seat, high tension, supernatural thrills and chills. And what I got was, honestly, a pretty bland movie with some shock visuals that were not shocking. Some horror contexts that were not horrifying. And some supernatural thrillers that were not super. And certainly not natural. But it's really, it just wasn't very good overall. So, yeah, that's just like overall impressions and stuff like that. I honestly say don't waste your time unless it shows up on Prime or something for free. I don't even know if renting it is honestly going to be worth it. It really drags. It is not a very long film, but it felt very long. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. Unlike the Popcorn Bucket. Oh, shut up. You waste DJ's time all the time. Literally. You take hours of time, Popcorn Bucket. Hours! Alright. Spoilers. This film is not good. So it starts with 5 minutes of introductions to the studios. And then for some reason, I don't understand this about movies. Like, this is one of the weird things about movies. Studios and producers and everybody get credited twice. If you think that's kind of weird, it is weird. If you're going to throw their name immediately after you introduce the studio, why? Especially when each studio has decided that they are so important that they take 4 minutes of screen time. That's how long it felt. It was literally just studio, another studio, brought to you by another studio, with cooperation from another studio. Oh, we also are part of this film festival, which was apparently brought to us by yet another studio. And then they start the film, and it's like a tracking shot, which... tracking shots are like pretty cool, I guess. Like it shows like you can move around a big environment and show people like walking through a party and things like that and interacting and making the world active and alive right away. But during this tracking shot, guess what? Did you know it was brought to you by this studio in cooperation with this studio, in association with this studio, as a part of this film festival, which apparently was brought to you by this other studio? That's just annoying because of how boring this film really was. The fact that I just remember sitting at the beginning of this film going, when is the movie going to start? Every single studio had a 30-second animation. And there were like 6 studios. And a film festival. So the premise of the film, overall, I'm not going to go through the entire film, just because I really don't want to spend too much time on this. But the premise of the film essentially is you have a girl. Oh, so boring, I don't even remember her name. That sucks that I don't remember her name. I remember the little boy's name, Riley. Amy? Was it Ames? I think it was Amy. Was the main character's name. Yeah, because her mom called her Ames. Or was her name Ames? Bland protagonist. We'll go with that. Essentially has like a group of people that she's trying to hang out with and be cool with, but the group of people don't really care for her very much. She has a friend, like a best friend, who's dating the guy that she's actually really interested in and used to date when she was younger, but he has since moved on to her best friend. She's really close to this best friend and her little brother Riley and their mom. They spend quite a bit of time together and they have a pretty decent dynamic. Ames, I'm just going to go with Ames, is her name. Her mother passed away 2 years previously, and it was her mother's Remembrance Day, which is apparently an Australian thing. When somebody dies, you remember the day that they died and kind of try to remember their life and stuff like that. So she's already kind of in like a pretty depressed state, remembering the fact that her mother, who died under fairly bad circumstances, her mother took too many sleeping pills and killed herself, but she believes that her mother accidentally died. Like her mom accidentally killed herself by taking too many sleeping pills and getting trapped in a room before her dad could help her. So she's already kind of depressed, and she's trying to get in with this really cool trend that's going around the internet that's been like spreading like wildfire in the school, where kids are going and they're being possessed and they're having these like possession episodes, and it's associated with this guy, and I want to say it's a girl, but she's a very, very masculine female. Like, anyway, just an odd character. They don't ever address this person by like a name or refer to them in like the third person, so I don't know if they were supposed to be a guy, like a transgender guy, or if they were just a very, very masculine woman. Anyway, that's not important to the story. Nothing's important to the story. This guy and their person have in their possession a hand. It's like a ceramic hand, and apparently if you light a candle and hold the hand and say, "Talk to me," a spirit will appear, and you can talk to the spirit. And if you say like, "Come in," they will possess you for a period of time. And the trick is that you have to only be in this possessed state for 90 seconds. If you go longer than 90 seconds, they are with you forever. So you can already kind of see where the film's going to go, right? So the friends, they meet up, and the girl, to try to fit in with the group that doesn't really care for her very much, volunteers to do the hand thing because she's curious about this possession thing. and she has an episode, and she enjoys it a great deal. So it becomes kind of a thing where she's like, oh, let's bring these guys over to my best friend's house, and we'll do like another like little mini party, but we'll just, the entire time everybody can be possessed by this hand, because it feels incredible to be possessed because you don't actually know what's really going on outside. So it's like a euphoric experience. And they're teenagers, so if something is really stupid and dangerous, guess what? We're on board. This has been approved by the Teenage Idiot Association. The TIA. Sorry. See, this is more entertaining than that film. Anyway, they go and they have this like long episode, and the little brother gets involved with it too, and is like, oh hey, I would actually want to really experience this. This looks really cool, and everybody's talking about how awesome it is. I want to do it. The sister obviously is like, no, this is extremely dangerous and it's really stupid. I'm not even doing it. I don't want you to do it. But Mia, the main character, Amy. Oh, it's Mia. Mia's the main character. Sorry. This is my life. I watch so many movies I can't remember the name of the characters. Anyway, main character, main protagonist. It is Mia. Is it? This is not important and I'm wasting time. But anyway, so main protagonist chick says, okay, it's going to be fine, but instead of 90 seconds, like even like getting close to the 90 seconds to risk it, you're only going to be able to be in this state for 50 seconds, and we're going to make sure that you stay in this only 50 seconds. Well, they do the possession thing with the little boy, and the little boy starts referring to the main character in like a pet name that only the main character's mother called her by. So obviously this causes like an immediate emotional response, because it's literally been like 2 years since her mother died. It's still very fresh because of the Remembrance Day thing, and so she wants to talk to her mom, and as a result he goes over the 50 seconds and closer and closer to this 90-second mark. And by the time he gets really, really close to the 90-second mark and they have to finish it, he goes through a really, really scary. If it was real, it'd be terrifying. But goes through a really like scary possession sequence where he literally starts just slamming his head on a table. He flies across the room, and he's constantly just bashing his head in. And then at one point, he tries to rip his own eye out. Traumatic visual for certain. And obviously he's still holding on to the hand, and the hand will not let go. So he goes way over the 90-second mark. They have to call the hospital. He gets sent to the hospital, and he is looking rough. He looks rough. The story continues to progress. The main character feeling really horrible about this whole situation, but curious by the fact that her mother appeared, decides that she wants to contact directly with the mom. Talks directly with the mom. The mom is this horrifying visage of terrible death. And also she starts seeing her mom and other things associated with the hand outside. And she has like a couple of dream sequences. She has a couple of different things. All of which are really gross looking. They did a pretty decent job with the visuals as far as the dead bodies. They were very, 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 very gross. All of the dead spirits look very, very gross and could do things that were relatively terrifying. Anyway, she goes on a mission to try to save Riley from this horrible fate, because she sees him essentially in like hell, being ripped apart by all of the dead spirits associated with the hand. And so she has this whole thing, and the mom spirit keeps trying to talk to her about how everybody's lying, and she needs to save Riley, and it's her responsibility to save Riley. And the only way to save Riley is to kill him. But there's also like a theory that if you just kind of leave the person alone, the spirits lose power over that person, and eventually they'll just go away. And what we're seeing is the little boy is recovering a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell if he's recovering or if it's just this weird mental state kind of thing that's going on, because he literally is having episodes where he'll wake up and start trying to kill himself again. Over and over, this has happened. The film's climax, the main character is talking to the mom spirit, and that she's getting a vision that her dad is not who he says he is, and he might be possessed, and he's trying to break down the door, blah, 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 blah. And then it reveals to the audience that it's not the dad trying to break down the door at all. The dad is just sitting on his couch with this weird hand thing. He's like, it's kind of weird. And eventually the dad does manage to break down the door just as the girl is getting a pair of scissors. So she was reaching for a pair of scissors because she was being strangled by a spirit that looked like her dad. By the time she turned around with the knife, the dad was in the place of where the spirit thing was, and she stabbed him in the neck. Not necessarily killed him, but we can assume he is very, very injured, obviously, because he's just been stabbed in the neck, and people don't usually survive that popcorn bucket. She ends up going to the hospital. She sees a bunch of different visions and stuff like that. She's communing with this one spirit that is appearing as Riley, and Riley is in the chair, and he looks a little bit better than he did before. And she has a plan to just push him in front of traffic and have him run over. At the climax of the film, or the end of the film, she got run over, and now she is one of the spirits within the hand at the end of the film. There's the major spoiler. This film really had a lot of potential. Like I said, it has a really cool premise. It could have been done way better. It could have been executed way better. There's a lot of things that were left on the table with this one. The music isn't the greatest. The acting is pretty solid. The mom character acts really, really well. A lot of the characters are fairly believable. It's very clunky. It is very, very dry, and it is very, very boring in a lot of places. Overall, just not a very well put together film. Cinematography is pretty basic. It really probably was an indie film, and it really shows the fact that it's an indie film, because a lot of the shots just aren't really all that great. Some of the visuals are really cool, but then some of the visuals are just kind of there. It didn't take advantage of its setting. It didn't really take advantage of its premise, and as a result, this movie most assuredly is going to flounder. I can't imagine it's going to get very good word of mouth. I can't imagine it being extremely popular. I'm actually very disappointed. Like I said, I saw the trailers. The trailers looked interesting. The premise looks terrifying. It looked like it had so much potential, and somehow, some way, it just kind of face planted. Just a fairly overall boring experience. I don't really recommend the film, as you guys already know, and I really don't have anything else to say about the film. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you enjoy our review and you enjoy our reviews. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. In the comments, let us know how we are doing, how we can improve, and what films you're looking forward to this year, so that we can go and we can watch those as they come out and get you the review that you deserve. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and we do appreciate it when you guys share us with your friends. We are found at Facebook as well, at Entertainment Rebooted. We do a lot of different articles, updates, and things like that. And we are also on Twitter at Exposition Sickle. So with that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.